Please have your seat. Thank you very much. Very pleasant good evening to each and every one of you. It's really a pleasure to be here in Pinal. I want to tell you a little secret very, very quickly, and I know Nell will smile because she's heard this before. I am from Mayaro, born and grew up in Guayagoyari. For those of you who know that part of the island, it's where the Amoko operations are. But the first girl I come to see to married was in Pinal here, you know. And the road was named Bachia Trace. So if the young lady, I can't remember her name, if she's in the audience here this evening, perhaps she can give me a little nudge before the evening is over. But Nell is quite aware of that, and we've spoken about, that journey early on, being a very loyal, decent son of my parents. And, they wanted to get me married and settled in, and I did what I had to do, and eventually I found the most beautiful young lady to get married to. And we've been married for 33 years, non-stop. And I have 3 beautiful daughters out of that, this relationship that I've had. So I know Vic is a sticker for time, so I'm glad that he has only given me 9 minutes to complete my contribution this evening. So first of all, I want to acknowledge all my colleagues on the head table, those of our candidates who are here this evening to present themselves to you. And when you have a team like what I have today, it really creates a space for development and growth for everybody. Because probably 30 years ago, 40 years ago, a leader took a team to government. Today, I believe the team takes leaders to government. Because you need such a wide open angle and view of everything in order to deal with the issues that are facing us today. So very quickly, I want to touch on 3 items here this evening. Why are we here? We are facing an internal election for the party that selects the leadership of the political organization which we all belong to, called the United National Congress. Now, like many of you, the call for change is not something that is new, it's recent. Like you, I have been hearing this same call for years. Even before 2020, before the loss in 2020, there were those parts of the population of our membership who saying, hey, we have serious issues to deal with in the party. How can we address that? Now, there's an old saying that everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. Yeah. Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. Everybody wants change, but nobody wants to throw that lever. And that is where we as a country, I believe, that is keeping us back. And we are kept back because when you look at other societies in Europe, North America, Scandinavia, their culture and the people, they understand what activism is. I feel sometimes that we do not understand what activism is. Activism is not dragging a log and burning 2 tires across the road. That's terrorism. Activism is when you, your children, your community, your neighborhood is passionate about things. And Edward is the perfect example of activism. So please, let's give Edward a round of applause for that. Edward, I need you to get into the schooling system and teach our chemistry students how to use chemistry and the science to be passionate about the environment, about the ocean, about clean air. How do we use our curriculum to do those things? Now, I mentioned that because what were the options for change? How do you create change in a political organization? So, as I said, one of my colleagues said that we were spearheading a coup. And as Anita said, well, you spearhead a coup when you do things on your own. For 1 year, at least 1 year, I have been meeting, by invitation, several members, executives, little organizations in the US, Saints and Rushton. We're having problems. We're having it in our own constituency in Mayaro. Reaching out to all of these folks, and I would come back, I would send little notes to the political leader, say, boss, we're having some issues. We need to address these things. Okay, yes. I would have reached out to the chairman of the party. I would have reached out to the general secretary over time. Gentlemen, we are in problems. And if we don't address these things in the party, it is going to be very difficult for us to be competitive against the PNM in 2025. No response, no attention. Look how organizations in other parts of the world do. They mash up things, they break up things, they storm parliaments. But luckily in Trinidad and Tobago, we have a history, a proud history of democracy. We have had the smooth transition of government historically since 1956. Every time there's a general election, transition of power happens. We have a good history of democracy. In the United National Congress, we have a good history of democracy because we were the first party to create one man, one vote. And you cannot have a better, stronger democracy than one man, one vote. We have a history of obeying laws, obeying rules in the UNC. Sometimes I feel we create some of the harshest laws in this country. So we have a good track record. What we had before us is an opportunity to use the constitution of the party to drive the change that everybody is asking for. So we don't have to go and quarrel with anybody. We don't have to be nasty with anybody, mudsling with anybody, because the constitution was clear. Every 2 years, there will be an election of a national executive who will lead the administration and direction of the party. The leader, which is the political leader, that election is every 3 years. Now, there's a reason for that. The framers of the Constitution never wanted the political leader and the national executive to be at the same time. Why? Because you didn't want to have collusion in any operation of political organization. Because you wanted the CEO, which is the political leader, to be one cycle, and then you wanted your board of directors to be a different cycle. And that is in order to ensure that we have a smooth running of our party. But over the last 2 internal elections, that process was watered down. So historically, for the last 2 times, the political leader and the national executive came at the same time. And that caused the problem that we're in now. Because you found a team who have now become subservient to a leader. And listen, I am not mentioning personalities here, right? This is about when a group of people become subservient to a leader. Then nobody challenges anything. Take a look at financial collapses historically in this country. 2, don't call the financial institution names, some globally. But when you look at what caused the collapse, it's collusion. When nobody accounts to anybody, that's a problem. And I'm saying, how do we treat the call of the membership for change in a legal framework? It's through the party's constitution. So when persons tell me that, Paray, why are we mashing up the party? I say, well, how? If the constitution is clear of the party, and there is an election, do we mash up the party? Are we going to mash up the country in 2025 when a general election is called? No. We are demanding a general election from the Keith Rowley administration. We're not demanding the election from our own party. And then I can't recall in the 33 days that we've been on this actual campaign that anybody on my slate has tossed a harsh word, has been disrespectful. We have protected the integrity of the party. by not responding to foolishness, we've protected the integrity of the party. And we've done that. So the persons who are saying that this team, the team that I lead, is mashing up the party, I would ask, how? Give me one example. But let me ask you to reflect to some of the things you may have heard. But if you're like me, you don't listen foolishness. But if you happen to bounce across it on your television screen, some of the commentary that comes from the other team talk about who is PNM, who is traitor, who is the PNM B team. And as Larry said, it's the same language that was being used many, many years ago. But when you could call, I'm 53 years old, a little heavy, but this is not primary school, but you'll call me fatty. Now, I want to tell you what you are dealing with. This is the slate that is the mother of the next government of Trinidad and Tobago. This is the slate. And the offspring, which will be the characteristic of governance, will come from this slate. I want you to reflect on the slate that is against us. If that team is the mother of the next government of Trinidad and Tobago, what is the characteristic that you're going to deal with? When you have legislators, could call your colleague fatty. That tells you about the intellectual capacity of some of these people to lead. We at a time in this country where there are global headwinds that are coming, that is going to affect the lives of you, every young person here, every child who is waiting to graduate from university, and they are looking for a job. There are global headwinds that are coming, and we have to have the best team in 2025 to deal with that. The PNM lacks the intellectual skill. Nobody in that cult of a government understands what it needs to compete regionally, internationally, for a space that can take all of you into the future. They can't. So the job is ours. The job in the United National Congress is ours. It is there for us to take the lead. But how do we do that? And we don't strengthen the organization that we call home. So those of you who are home builders, look at this beautiful home here. We are here this evening. I can tell you Ram would have had to put a very good foundation for this establishment to stand on. Businessmen have to build strong foundations for their business to stand on. If we want a government, we need to have a party that is strong for government to sit on. And if we don't strengthen our party, what does the government sit on? The other thing that I want to tell you that this team have is really a good fingerprint. A good fingerprint. Fingerprints are important. A fingerprint tells a lot about who you are, where you've been. The fingerprint that this team will lead you to advances in this country, in law, in business, in finance, in leadership, in strategy, at a macro level. These are the 5 areas we have to address in our country. When you look at the team at the regional coordination level, they are all people who are integrated in the party. That we are going to fix the issues of the party groups, the community council, constituency executives. Because those organs of the party is what creates national policy, you know. If your organs are not working, what is going to tell our next Minister of Works what is important? So we have 18 months, less than 18 months, ladies and gentlemen. We have articulated 5 or 6 main areas, including party reconstitution, constitutional reform in the party, the use of advanced digital systems in modernizing our membership. We talk about reducing red tape. We talk about reducing challenges within the party organs. And because we can do that in the party, we'll do it in government. When we tell Trinidad and Tobago that we will digitize our party, we will digitize the government of Trinidad and Tobago. When we tell the people of Trinidad and Tobago and the party that we are going to create constitutional reform, where there will be fixed terms for office holders, fixed terms for political leaders, fixed terms. When we tell the party and the country we will do that in the UNC, we will do it when we are in government as well. So we talk about the fingerprint, how we run our party, and Anita said it, how we run our party is how we will run government. How we run our campaign, you've been observing our campaign for the last 30 days. How we run our campaign is how we're going to run our party. With respect, with decency, and you give the membership the respect that it deserves. I saw on the media, there was a comment that the 5 of us, the 5 MPs, MP Haynes, MP Charles, MP Ramberley, MP Ryan, myself, that we just hide behind somebody's skirt. I don't know whose skirt is that, but we don't hide behind anybody's skirt. We stand solidly behind the membership of our party. We stand solidly behind the organs of our party. We stand solidly behind every decent person and idea in this country. That's what we stand for. And that's what we'll stand behind. The team that we've selected, ladies and gentlemen, the symbol that we've used, the praying hands, it's a sign of unity. It's a sign of strength. We used the word United Patriots because patriots is what all of us are. Because we took a decision. Well, actually, I kind of put an idea in the head and they buy my idea that we want to go to political heaven. And to get to political heaven, you have to be willing to take the political debt to get there. And what is political heaven? It is when we can refix and rebrand and re-engineer this party that we call our second home, and we can build an institution that will take us to government in 2025. And when we get to government in 2025, we should be ready to fix the problems of this country. And in the last 5 minutes before, because I see Victor start watching my heart, why is Saturday important? This is not a simple election. People may feel that this is a simple election inside of our party, but it is not. Saturday is going to be a pivotal day in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. It is going to be a day that we take the sails of this country and adjust it. Told you about the global winds that are coming. And if we don't adjust those sails, starting Saturday, we are going to end up in so much problems and the PNM is unable to fix it. And this is the warning that I want to leave with you. If we allow the PNM to retain government in 2025, it will be the first time in 40 years that the PNM has won 3 consecutive elections. Dr. Rowley is going to wave his Balaji flag and he's going to say, Iceman. The last Prime Minister was Dr. Williams. For those I know, my friend Suraj Day is here, some of you who would remember the days back in the 50s and 60s. when you had the PNM regime in charge. Understand life back then, and you would remember that. And if you think that we will lose election just for 5 years, we are going to go back in the political wilderness of the Eric Williams days, where we will remain there for 20, 30 years. And nothing that you are working for, the sacrifices that you are making, some of you, I know some of you, give up vacation, holiday, air conditioning in your room because you're paying school fees for your children. You're paying for university because you want your children to do better than you. And when we, as a political organization called the UNC, we make poor decisions and we lose, it's not Mrs. Prasad Bissessa alone that loses. It's not Paray that loses alone. It's not Anita that loses alone. It is you. It is you, the members, lose. You, the citizens of the country, you lose. It is you, the businessman, the teacher. It is you that lose. So this is not a simple election on Saturday. It is an election that is going to tell you about the future of this country. And nothing that I said here this evening, nothing that I said, I don't believe it. Because, sometimes they say, well, all these politicians, come and say anything that you want to. I am telling you that I believe in those things. And I believe that Trinidad and Tobago is a place that we can rescue. I believe it is a place that has the potential to be the best in class in the world, but we need good leadership. And because the PNM doesn't have that, it falls on the shoulders of the UNC. And I have presented, when I made my call to the widest membership of the party, if you have a contribution to make to national development, let me know. Because I refuse to believe that we don't have good skill and talent in the UNC. And just from the team alone that approached me and said, Paray, I am willing to help. Dr. Manchun, stalwart of the party, came forward. He says, MP, I am willing to get back into the politics because I believe in the UNC. We all want to believe in things. We all have to believe in things. And the UNC as a political organization, we are the future of Trinidad and Tobago. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for coming out this evening. There's so much we could say. There's so much we could talk. We've had a wonderful campaign. We've stuck to our guns. I also want to tell you, in closing, one more minute, Vic. We will win this thing on Saturday. We will win it, right? And I want to assure every member of our party that you are valuable. We are not in the business, we are not in the politics of fear, we're in the politics of hope. Your vote on Saturday remains confidential and it is your choice. Nobody is going to know who you vote for you to worry that if you vote for the United Patriots, you'll be victimized. I can tell you that's not in our vocabulary. I want to work with every single person, every colleague, every parliamentarian who sits with us in the parliamentary chamber has a role to play going forward with all of us. Every councillor, every alderman, every single person who is working in this party, we are about building the party. And you can't build anything when you're running people away, when you're buffing them, and when you're chasing them away. We are in the business of building and strengthening. I want to remind persons, it's 17 positions. Please put your X next to all 17 because I need a team to work with, to drive. And the last thing, our team will work with anybody who sits in the seat of a political leader. I want to make that very, very clear. This is not about personality. This is about being able to take with the government. And it means that I am placing before you a position that the work that we will do will work with anybody who sits in the seat as the political leader of the United National Crime, because the objective here is to go into government with the best possible team, best possible advisor. So this narrative about who want to have coup and who want to lick up who, that's foolishness. We are here to strengthen the party. So ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you very much for the opportunity to be invited back to Pinal, invited to your home here, and thank you very much for allowing us to share a few ideas with you. So thank you very much. Have a good night.
Good night again, each and every one of you. On behalf of our team, the United Patriots, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for coming out. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Rampasad Siraj and Darren and his team from the constituency of Siparia and Sion and Edward Moody and everyone who came out this afternoon to make this meeting and our drive through the area a success. And we will have victory here on Saturday, the United Patriots. And you will see us when we win Saturday. You will see us again on Sunday morning, bright and early in Rock Road, because we have to retain the seat of Queenam Mondiablo. So you will see us walking hand in hand, brother and sister, under one UNC banner. And again, I must say one thing before we conclude. On our side, we don't attack no one. We attack none of our colleagues, and we attack none of our religious leaders, no matter what denomination you come from. And I am a Presbyterian with a Muslim surname, and I want to say something tonight. Bojan has been provided for all.
No one else.
So thank you and do enjoy the rest of the night.
United Patriots. The United Patriots.
Hi everyone, I'm here at the United Patriots headquarters, and today I'm going to show you how easy it is to cast your vote for the United Patriots on Saturday the 15th of June. Firstly, you might be wondering whether your name is on the membership list. Well, it's really easy to find out. What you can do is call 433-1442 or 739-0394. One of our helpful representatives can check the list to see if your name or your family member's name are on the voters list for this election. Next, on election day, which is Saturday, 15th of June, you can head down to your assigned polling station. And if you'd like to know which polling station, the location of your polling station, here is a list on screen of the various stations located across Trinidad and Tobago. Be sure to walk with a valid form of ID on election day, and this can either be your driver's permit or your national ID card. So now for the most critical part, to actually cast your vote. There are 17 positions on the NATEX that we are contesting, and it sounds like a lot, but it's actually not that bad. Here we have a ballot guide, and what you'll do is you'll place your mark next to each one of the praying hand symbol.
For the people out there, you know that we are facing challenging times. For the last 9 years, things got bad, but now it's victory time. Come June 15, 2024, be fully conscious of yourself.
After you've cast your vote, you just place your ballot paper into the ballot box, and you can go about your day knowing that you've done your duty as a UNC member and a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. Just remember, a stronger UNC is a stronger TNT. And on Saturday, 15th June, put your X next to the praying hands. Thank you.
A stronger UNC is a stronger TNT, a stronger UNC.
Members of the United National Congress, on Saturday, June 15th, we have a chance to make history. We have a chance to choose a new direction, a brighter future, and a stronger party. If we want to beat the PNM, the UNC must change. We need a new UNC that listens, that cares, and that fights for every single one of us. Together, we can build a stronger UNC for a stronger TNT. On Saturday, June 15th, put the UNC in safe hands. Put your X by the praying hands.